Recording is on.
Hello there. We are in the, let me see if I get this name right, Bitcoin Core App Design Jam Session number 2. It's basically the call for the Bitcoin Core GUI where we just work together on design stuff, hands-on. We don't talk about project management or development. It's just design stuff. And this is our second one. So thanks for being here, tuning in, etc. So let's see. Let's think real quick on where we are, because not all of us joined the call yesterday, nor the one last week, I think. And there were two things that were brought up today to chat about, which were reviewing send and then Mo's user flow. Which one should we start with?
Perhaps user flows are more high level. So.
Okay.
Oh, cool T-shirt you got on.
Of course, I mean, it's streaming, right? So I need to.
Here I am just with my just plain black and you're just,
Okay, so the user flow. Would you like to give us an intro?
Ooh, let me just pull that up on Figma really quick. And then I can share my screen.
So I believe what this is was for last week. I did a quick session where I just tried to map out the creating a wallet flow, which we don't have anything. We're just starting this from scratch. And this was just kind of his first stab at some of the different things that could happen. And then Mo went in and simplified this in two ways. One, turned it into a user flow. And then you also, I think you removed some of the wallet types that are more advanced that we will not cover in this in the initial version of this feature that will.
Yeah, Christoph, as I'm explaining, you'll have to help me to see if I took the information from the flow correctly. So I'll share my screen. There we go. So we're all in the Figma file, so it doesn't matter really. So I guess just a high-level overview is that, on the call with the core guys yesterday, they mentioned that they just wanted to focus on the minimal viable product, which is just onboarding, create wallet, and then in the create wallet was single sig, multi-sig, and watch only. What you see here at the end of the user flow is taken from the original GUI, so those need a lot of work over there. But here we have, in the beginning with the onboarding, are the screen states that Christoph's created. So he's got a start screen, an about screen, strengthen Bitcoin, the block clock, storage location, storage settings, connection settings. And then we move into create wallet. And then these ones I've taken once again straight from Christoph's designs. And it might be good to just have a look if I've taken them correctly, because we've got educational, name, password, backup, wallet ready, and then you have multi-sig, educational, public key, name and password, and so on. So I just basically took those straight out of Christoph's flows. So it might be good to have a look at those. And then this, as I mentioned, this last part of the user flow is literally just taken out from the old user flow.
Okay, let's. Oh, sorry. Did you want to?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. That's it.
So the orange stuff at the beginning, that's basically version 1. We'll just leave that as is right now. So let's go to the green stuff, the creating a wallet. So the idea here is I can create many different types of wallet, and we want to give people the options. So this initial create wallet here would be like, okay, let's create a wallet. Let's get you set up here. Here are 3 different types. Pick which one. And then I can say, I want a single sig or a multi-sig or watch only. And each one has different configuration, and we need different screens. So the first was education. Let's ensure people know what they're actually setting up and what they will need. So for multi-sig, that's the most complex one. We say, well, you're going to need external signer or something else, right? So it's good in these flows to tell people so they don't get stuck later on. And they're like, well, yeah, I wish you should have told me that at the beginning. I went through these 5 screens. I don't have everything I need. I'll have to restart from scratch tomorrow. So people are prepared. And then single sig is pretty straightforward. It creates a key. You enter name and optional password. You have to back it up. And then your wallet is ready. And we could ask people here to do a test transaction where it says, well, the wallet's ready. In order to make sure that it works, nobody takes your stuff, make a small deposit, wait 3 days, send it out of your wallet to wherever else, and then you can be sure that it's ready for larger funds or something like that, right? Help them with this test transaction, something Hevasto mentioned. Then with multi-sig, education again. Now here, this screen in the middle, that's not so simple because you might have set up a 2 of 3 multi-sig or a 5 out of 20 or something else, 1 of 2, 2 of 2. So we need to have a initial configuration where it says, well, how many keys should there be in total and how many should be required for citing? And then for every key in total that you pick, you need to go through the setup of that key. So there might be 3 screens here, there might be 5, there might be 1. Just depends on what you choose. So there's a whole lot of complexity here in this public key thingy here.
This was split basically into a few number of flows depending on how many keys you want to generate.
Yeah.
For each key, there will be separate screen, right?
Yeah, and if you generate all your keys on this device, I don't know if that's even, if we should allow you to do that or not, then it's different than if you connect a hardware wallet or I don't know what the other options are. So it could get kind of complex in there. That'll be the most complex one to figure out. And then I guess you have name. I'm not sure if you're going to even have a password for it, for a multi-sig. That might be per key. I'm not really sure. And then the backup thing is, backup's also more complicated because you back up the key itself and you back up the coordination of all the keys as they come together in this multi-sig wallet. So I don't really exactly know what needs to go in there too. And then, yeah, I don't know, initial test transaction. It's also an interesting thing. And the other thing is too, let's say the 3 of us want to create a multi-sig wallet together. Each of us have 1 key.
Mm-hmm.
What does that flow look like? I basically need to say, I want to set up a multi-sig and I'm going to create 1 key, but both of you have not created your keys yet. I need to create my key and then send it to both of you. And you need to send keys and we need to exchange all those keys. And then once we have them, then we can finalize the multi-sig on our sides. So there's a gap. There's a gap between me creating my key or all of us creating our individual keys, then sending those to each other and then finalizing this flow.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Christoph, is that a separate multi-sig flow or is that a flow within this multi-sig?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to figure that out.
It's this wallet, Nanuko or Nunchako, something like that, which is multi-sig focused. And I haven't tried it, but I'm just looking at their website and how the wallet looks like. It looks like it probably has some interesting UX. So we can just designing that. We should probably take a look how they resolve that problem because they are really multi-sig focused wallet. So maybe that would be a good inspiration.
Yeah. So it might be a thing where, for example, you set up your multi-sig, it says, okay, here are all the 3 keys, enter them in, or you could just create your first one, and then you can say, finish later, or something. Like, I don't have all the keys yet, I'm going to finish this later. And then it becomes an unfinished wallet in your list. And then you can come back to it later once you have the other keys. Maybe, I don't know yet. But we, like Jakob said, we need to do some research on that. And then the watch only one, I don't think we need a password and we don't need a backup because you just put in that XPub and then you just see transactions coming in. You can't send you can generate addresses, but yeah, I don't know, unless there's a password for people to, so nobody else can open it and see what's in this wallet. Might be, I don't know. Maybe there's one, not sure. But yeah, that's all stuff to figure out. I don't know what else? What did I miss?
Christoph, do you see anything that we might have, and I'm just asking this, I have no idea. Do you see there anything that we might have missed in the create wallet flows? Because we have education, we've got the backup, we've got a confirmation that it's ready. Is there anything else maybe that we might have not thought about?
So the test transaction, you could put that in there.
Okay, what is that?
So let's say you set up your wallet that you do a test transaction. You send a small amount of Bitcoin into this wallet, and then you send it back out to ensure that it works and nobody else just takes your money.
Yeah.
It's just good practice. Like with a hardware wallet, I usually do that. Whenever I want to seriously use a wallet, I'll make a small test transaction to make sure I can.
Also, like a recovery, like test recovery is nice practice, I guess. Just delete or just put like trying to recover the wallet from seed and just see if it works.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin Core doesn't have seeds, right? So it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just a file.
And at which point in the flow would you do the test transaction? After your wallet is ready?
Yeah, I mean, after the wallet's ready, you need to deposit stuff in there anyways.
Yeah.
Somehow you need to generate an address and send it to people. So it's an optional step that we can give people. Maybe somebody's just super pro, they love risk, YOLO, they'll just don't want to do it.
And that would be only in the multi and the single sig and not in the watch only.
So see, the multi-sig is kind of tricky because, so let's say all three is, because if all three of us set up the test transaction, then we're going to do 3 test transactions. But it's probably just enough if one of us does it. So we exchange keys with each other. I set up a test transaction, and then I need to send that transaction to the 2 of you so you can sign it with your key. Like I'll send it to you, Mo, you sign it with your key, then it has 2 signatures. And maybe you send it to Jakob for the 3rd signature if we set up a 3 of 3. And then Jakob sends it to the blockchain to get it confirmed. So It's not something that all 3 of us should initiate. One of us should only do that.
Yeah.
Unless it is my personal multi-sig where I have 2 extra devices, for example, or 1 extra device, whatnot. Then I want to go through that process by myself.
So the sending will be just sending the file, right? Or the URI?
I'm sorry?
How do parties send transaction for the other party to sign?
That's a PSBT, which is just a file.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just need to, if they have a private key, if they have the wallet.
That's where in the send flow, you load, this is what you pick, load PSBT. So you go in here, you want to send, and then you import this file, and that has all the information about this transaction.
Yeah, but during the creation, one person has to do the multi-sig flow, then they receive keys, they share keys, right? And the people who get the keys share, they need to read that in Bitcoin Core app, right? But the creation itself is done on the one computer, or to even create a wallet, you need to kind of sign. That's what I'm not getting. So
the wallet is actually created by everyone. So those are kind of separate pieces. So each of us create a single key, right? That's kind of independent. It's just a key. Mm-hmm. And if you take all of our keys together and combine them in the right way, you get this multi-sig wallet. Okay. So what I need to back up on my side is my key. but my private key, you don't send me your private keys, just some public keys.
Yeah, okay.
Because otherwise it'd be kind of pointless. And I need to store that multi-sig configuration information. So I need to back up to my own private key and this multi-sig configuration, because with that configuration, I can initiate new transactions that then that I can send to both of you, and one of you can sign.
So
Hey, Augustus.
where in that flow does the actually connecting or like creating the new key from 3 keys happens in that flow?
So that would be somewhere in the send. That's when you initiate a new transaction. The only thing that happens here in this wallet creation is that we exchange keys and we form our keys to create the super Power Ranger.
So the test transaction goes in the send flow, not here in the create wallet flow.
I mean, the test transaction is basically actually, it's just a receive, right? You just want to create an address to receive to.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
So
You might want to do a test send also. I don't know. That's stuff we have to figure out.
Yeah.
So I think this will become easier, what this transaction test will look like once we've actually figured out the send flow, because then we know exactly what it looks like and we can just kind of piece it in.
Yep, 100%. So the send flow is very, there's nothing in the send flow at the moment. It's just.
Yeah, the one thing is missing here is like fee setting or settings.
I've given you editing access as well. I just did that about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, very cool. Let me try. I can't.
I did it on the email address.
Don't read it out loud, otherwise everyone will know later.
Yeah, good one.
We're just already showing the video here anyways. So yeah, that's weird.
Do you have access or do I need to use another email address?
I don't even know what email address I'm using for this thing. Because it doesn't show me. But under share, can't you see my name and then just pick the right setting next to it?
Yeah, let me just go share. Let me just open it for full editing now. Oh yeah, there we go. I can see you. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I've changed it to edit now.
Yeah. So we can start looking at send flow. I looked into it just a little bit earlier. If you'd like, or we can dive deeper into the wallet creation.
As you guys wish. I'm easy either way.
Well, Jakob wanted to look at the send and co-design there. So how about we do that?
I've seen, isn't the one you have on Workspace a new design? You're playing with coin selection?
Yeah, so I was messing around with this earlier because going into this discussion, I wanted to be a little bit prepared. So
Is this the send flow, Christoph?
Yeah, that's just what I was doing earlier this afternoon.
Oh,
So
I
it's
should go grab those screen states then.
So yeah, but let me go through it so you kind of know. So here's basically the flow. So send Bitcoin, by default, I see address, description, amount, and fee. And I have these options in the top right for open URI, load PSBT, or enable coin selection. I don't know if that goes in here really, just a thing. If I click the fee thing, then I have 3 options. I just threw that in there. It's a kind of default component in the UI kit, and then subtract fee amount. I don't know if we need to have a custom option where you can enter variables and whatnot. Maybe, not sure. It was just thrown together really. Then I was looking at there could be an option where you add a recipient, that you get these little boxes at the top. So recipient 1, recipient 2, and if I add another one, recipient 3, recipient 4, so then I can just toggle back and forth. Sorry?
That would be scrollable, I think, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you thinking, Christoph, of maybe the ad recipient being like a modal pop-up to enter the information, just like the fee options, or?
Now, see, I'd like to mock up like 10 different variations of this, but this is just the first thought where when your ad recipient introduces an element that allows you to go back and forth, like the same form, but it allows you to go back and forth between the different recipients.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not going to work if you have like 10 or 15, but if you just have 2 or 3, yeah, maybe that works. It doesn't edit the form too much, right?
Yeah.
And then I was wondering if here, if you enable coin selection, there's just an option here that says select coins. I click it, and then I don't know if I get a new window or if there's like an overlay that comes up. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't get too far. It says, okay, you want to send 20,000 Satoshi, you need to select coins with that amount. And here are your choices. And then it tells you, okay, you've selected 200,000 now. Okay, green check mark, you're good. There are way more options in the Qt GUI. There's more stuff in here. But I just try to put in there what's minimal. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't spend, it's not really fleshed out. It's just, I try to get things in my head mostly.
But that's like at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens.
No, it's just 2 screens. It's just variations. They're just interactive states.
Right.
Screen.
Yeah, I see that now. So I've got send, I've got fee options as a modal, I've got select coins to send, and then I've got add recipient, and I've got select coins to send again. Oh, that was a second version of that screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, if we have some type of address book type of deal, maybe there's also another overlay. And we have to figure out if those are full screen overlays or if they're modals like this one. I really don't know yet. We just have to mock it up with realistic content, and that will then guide us and get input from the dev crew also and whatnot. And iterate.
Yeah, one thing is missing here is replace by fee, right? So that we should, I guess, in the fee options model.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the model. I was kind of.
I like the modal as well because I do like modals when they're done well, because I feel that they reduce the number of screens added in the overall flow. So I do like modals.
Yeah, I don't know if it works if we need to have another custom option for fees. And if you look at the fee stuff, it's like custom per kilobyte, BTC, confirmation target. If we can condense this stuff, then yeah. And otherwise, it might be too much.
Yeah.
My intuition is that custom would be like we shouldn't not include it.
Ooh, good luck.
Ooh.
So an option is always to not include it in the design and see if somebody complains.
I'm just gonna add in some all these notes that I've made.
Because the fees, this estimation of these fees are based on the node, right? On a mempool.
Yeah.
But one of the developers said it's not very efficient in the core because we don't use any external data. All right.
Yeah.
So just my assumption is that in very harsh market conditions where the transaction fees will be like in 2017, 18, when there might be some very dynamic fee situation. This calculation may not be efficient, and perhaps in that scenario, like a custom fee would be very useful.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, in that very harsh fee conditions where the fee estimation core can be not so efficient.
Yeah, and maybe you just really do not care how long it takes. If the slow option's like 30 to 60 minutes, but it's still too expensive for you, just want to say, just 100 sats, it's the most I'm going to want to pay, even if it takes 2 weeks, right? Then I don't know. Maybe you just want that extra option. I don't know. I really don't know how urgent this is. I always make up stories. But yeah, and something that's completely missing here is we have to figure out if when I import a PSBT, then I will not have an add recipient option because everything's already provided for me.
Is there an additional screen or modal that's needed for the PSTB information to be entered, or is that just pretty basic information?
I mean, so all I'm doing, if I import a PSBT, then the address is given, the amount is given.
Yeah.
And somebody else defined it. I just need to say okay. I just need to approve it, and then I need to say yes, send it back, share it with the third person, or send it off. There could be 2 things. So we have to figure out all 3 states. In a multi-sig wallet, I create a transaction, but I can't send it off because signatures are missing. So on here, it could say something like requires 2 transactions to podcast or whatever. Like we need to have some text somewhere, and maybe that's at the bottom. I really don't know yet.
Got you.
And then
Is it?
it should say something like export PSBT. Like, obviously not that, but I'm entering stuff, and then I need to send it to you, this file. And then you're going to need to go in here and import it. And then the only option you have is really just approve.
So this would be an additional screen state for exporting the PSBT.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I thought the parties only sign without transacting, and there is only one transaction. Doesn't that work that way?
So, so let's say I'm initiating the transaction. I will create a transaction file that has all the information for this transaction in it. And the 2 of you cannot change the address or the amount, right? Because then that's kind of pointless. All you can do is sign it. And then if the criteria is fulfilled, let's say this requires, we decided only 2 signatures are needed, then whoever signs it from both of you can also broadcast it into the mempool, and then it will be processed. If it requires all 3 transactions, then I should only send it to one of you. You sign it, and then the application has to say, okay, this needs one more signature. Here you go, send this file to the next one. And then the other person will be able to approve and broadcast it. Or you can reject it and do nothing. Then you just don't do anything.
Well,
Does that make sense? Or?
So there are 2 ways. One with signings, and the other is with transacting, actually. Did I understand?
Well, so somebody creates the transaction and sends it off. The other thing is somebody adds another signature and sends it off. And somebody can add a signature and broadcast it to the network. By sending it off earlier, I meant send it to another person. But maybe you can, we have this awesome document.
Yeah, I've just made these over here with all of these screen states that you've designed. So I was just needing some help from you guys in where they go in.
Okay.
Actually.
So I'm just let's call this multi-sig send. Person 1 creates transaction, signs it, and sends it to person 2. Then person 2 signs it and broadcasts it to the Bitcoin network. Transaction is processed, right? So This is a multi-sig send 2 of 3. In a 3 of 3, it would be different. It would be person 2 signs it and sends it to person 3. And then it would be 3 signs it. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, what confused me, but there's like only one. There's only one broadcast, right? I mean, only one. Well, it's one wallet, so it's not like there's.
Yeah, once it's final, that PSBT is complete, then whoever has it, their node sends it off to the broadcast, to the Bitcoin network, and then it'll be confirmed.
Yeah, because the copy here.
So this is a complete, okay, this is a complete multi-sig send. I'm just going to move this away. I'm going to move these ones. Oops. Okay. I'm just going to move these ones. Christoph's ones would ideally go in here. If that makes sense. In the send flow.
Yeah. So yeah, we have all these different states. There's a single sig send. It's just you fill in information, send it off. Then you have the multiple recipient single sig send. And then you go into the multi-sig where you have this interactive transactions.
I'm just going to move these guys up here. And I'm going to put Christoph's ones in here in the, oh, there's not enough space.
Yeah. Good luck. This is going to give you a kind of mess.
Yeah, but we've managed, we've moved it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do these ones come in, these other screens that you created, the home, select coins, fee options, add recipient, address book, and export PSB?
Okay. So technically there is no home. We have an activity or a transaction screen.
Okay.
And you already have that here. It's that red one.
Yep.
Then fee options is a modal in the send screen. Select coins is also a modal in the send screen. Add recipient is an option in the send screen. Address book is a modal. And export PSBT is a function in the send screen. So let's say I export PSBT, then I basically get a, like, where do you want to save this file on your hard drive? The, I don't know, file picker, folder picker.
And select coins is also optional, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an overlay. So I'm editing my transaction, and I go into this coin selection temporarily. I make some choices, and then I go back to my transaction creation send screen.
Christoph, what is the difference between a modal and an overlay? Because I
overlay is just full screen. Modal is
okay.
Parts. That's what I just call them. On mobile, on smartphones, you basically work 99% with these overlays. Like a screen temporarily shows up and disappears again.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. And on desktop, because you have this huge space, you work much more with modals.
So it feels almost like these ones, because it's not actually part of the flow.
They're screen states.
They're screen states. These are screen states.
You know, it's similar to what I did here with the top navigation.
Yeah.
You just have all these different screen states, and we need to detail them out.
So how would we add screen states into the flow? I've never done that before.
Yeah, you can't really. It's a different thing.
Yeah, it's.
You could kind of, what you could do? You could kind of make just a list of these, I guess. Put all of these in one.
I mean, it just depends. Like you can come up, just like this thing here. It's just a story, right? You can say, well, a user they send Bitcoin, and first thing they do is they go to their address book, and then They adjust their fees, and then they pick their coins, and then they send it off. Right there. So it's like a series of things that they focus on.
Yep, there we go.
But you have to come up with a specific story. It's not different stories will be different.
Yep.
A very simple transaction will be just fill in 3 fields, press send, done.
Yeah, they're not going to go through the fee options, select coins, and so on. Yep. So this is something that's a bit more, yeah, okay.
So the with Crate Wallet, that is linear, mostly, except for the multi-sig, where it's up to the user to choose how many keys, and then it'll be longer or shorter. And something like the send screen, there's just a lot of different states, and they're not as easy to capture in like a generic user flow. You have to come up with specific stories.
Yeah, we'd have to come up with stories for these to actually start making sense, because at the moment they're just, okay.
Or maybe we just keep this flow, the original flow, with like separate screens. So all the models and optional stuff.
Yeah.
We should, I know, have it under or just on the side, and here we're sending them basically two, I guess, 2 screens, right? The settings of the transactions, and then review it and just confirming the transaction.
I mean, you could try to not do a flow, but kind of take an index. So, okay,
That's
these
what
are
yeah, exactly. That's exactly, yeah.
these are states, and then you have these are modals, and we make them all look somehow differently, and maybe they need labels here. States. Very overlays. And
Or it should be a state. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. And an option is export PSBT. You also need import PSBT. I mean, maybe it should be called just import transaction or export transaction.
That's so much more user friendly, but I just don't know if the devs will agree with that.
You can always do something like PSBT.
Yeah, I much prefer as you use address description instead of label. Address description is just.
Yeah, select coins. You might also, somebody might say, well, select UTXOs. Coins is not accurate.
Well, like technically there are only stuff, right? There are no coins.
Exactly, coins don't exist. It's just liquid energy, money floating around.
There is no 21 million Bitcoin because there's no Bitcoin. There are only Satoshis.
And at the end of, I'm just okay.
Oh, and another thing here is if you can connect an external signer.
Okay.
So you prepare your transaction, and then it says, okay, now connect your Super Signer 2000 XL via USB and approve this transaction.
So the current core can do that?
I think it can do that, but only with a Python script that is an external download, but it will be integrated soon. I think, might be wrong on this one.
So is it still for our MVP, or we're not sure?
I think we just need to design it. I think with this send screen, because it's very intricate, we should just consider all of these different options in our design.
Christoph, for the single, multi, and multi-sig send, so for the multi-sig send 2 of 3, multi-sig send 3 of 3, after the person 1 creates transaction, signs it, sends it to person 2 signs it, broadcasts to network, transaction bonus, will they then get a transaction confirmation after that? Is that like the final step in the flow?
Yeah, so if I broadcast that transaction,
yeah,
Your wallets will also pick that up.
Okay.
They will see it show up in the mempool and see it being confirmed.
So transaction confirmation.
Yeah, it's like as soon as the next block gets confirmed in which this transaction is part of, then you will see that show up.
Okay.
I mean, actually, it might show up in the mempool before that, like waiting for confirmation. And during that time, like while it's still in the mempool, if you have one of the RBF or enabled, then you can still cancel it. But I don't know how cancellation works with multi-sig.
So should we have a cancellation one as well then as an option?
I think that is something for the transaction screen, not for the send screen.
Not for this one. Okay.
Yeah. So a transaction in the mempool, based on how it's configured, you can cancel it and you can speed it up. Speeding up means you just rebroadcast it, but with a higher fee. So the one
Yep.
with a higher fee will get processed faster.
Okay. Okay, cool. This looks great.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we basically need to get to the point where, just like here for the top bar, we're going to have, for everything in the send screen, we will have the same level of detail. So for entering an address, what does it look like when you made an error or a mistake?
So they would need to
Figure
be
that
error
out.
totals as well then, or just error messages.
Error messages, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be inline, but there's also a discussion on the Qt GUI right now, because up to you can actually detect which characters are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 4. So you could, up to a certain point, you can indicate this character is wrong, this character is wrong.
Yep.
And there's a discussion whether to indicate that to users or not. So we should design all of these, and if we design them, we can present them to. So because there's a difference, as you know, with if I tell you, if we talk about it logically, it's different than if we design it and show it to people.
Yeah,
If we
100%.
design and show it, we're going to get much better feedback. So I
So
think we
where
should
would-
detail this out in.
Where would those error messages be coming up then? Where would they would be basically in the send flow, and then it would be on the initial send screen, I guess.
I mean, a very typical pattern for any form fields is just you insert another piece of text below the input field.
Yeah.
So here, stuff is whack.
I will just make a note here
And probably red, yeah.
for.
So yeah, I don't know about red. Red always makes me feel like something's broken.
Well, in a way, it is. It's
Sorry?
depending on the information, right? On the problem.
Yeah,
Or-
I don't know. It could be
or-
yellow. Could be purple.
Problematic in this app since we use it as
Okay, I've made a note in the flow about error screen states, just as a.
And the error screen state is something in general we need to have a pattern for all input fields how we handle them.
Yeah.
But we still need to mock it up for all of these things, what that looks like. And yeah, with like I said earlier, with the recipient stuff, I was just, I don't know, don't take that too serious. I was just, what the app does right now is it just adds like tons of form fields below each other. That's not a good idea. But Jakob, you also did some explorations on this one. Can we look at those maybe?
Yeah, I put it in page Jakob workspace.
Uh-huh.
Is that in the core group?
Mm-hmm.
Let me have this.
So yeah, I was just inspired by your design for Monero.
Yeah, let's talk to those ones.
And at the bottom, if you follow me.
Oh, I'm looking at my messages between myself and Christoph, so that is the wrong message to chat. Okay.
It's the same file that we're looking at, the Figma file.
Yeah, just the main Bitcoin Core.
Oh, okay.
It's in Jakob's page.
Okay, let me just jump to that one.
Okay, cool. You have the review transaction screen. And then, send would have to be something different. It could be, download transaction or share or stuff about the multi-sig. Replaced by fee. It's cool. You have the custom option.
There's no multi-sig here. It's only simple.
Indicating priority. Okay. Yeah, there's the. Oh yeah. Here there's.
So this label placing here is, I guess, not correct because it's so much related to the address that it should be next to the address a label as we have it as well.
Sorry, which label is that?
I mean, in the alternative, in the middle one, there's a label below the amount, which is not, it shouldn't be like that. But maybe let's jump to add recipients on the top bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the idea is if you click add recipients, it just it changes to kind of table design where you can add another one if you need, and you can either just input, you can either just paste the address or edit the amount from here, I guess, or you can. I couldn't figure it out if you should be able to use here or you always need to enter another screen where you see basically the same, but where you see just recipient, end address input and amount input, and you can also add label if you want to. The adding label part to every address is kind of tricky here. This complicates.
I do like the review transaction that he's added into the send flow.
Yeah, we definitely need that one.
I'm going to add that into the user flow as well. Because we have that here for the single sig, but we don't have that for the multis and the multi 3 of 3. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point about the add recipient, where the send page really just becomes a summary, and then maybe you click on each recipient, and then you get this overlay form to customize it, instead of turning it into basically Excel. We just have this table, and like everything is really tiny, and you can't add description for each one.
Well, if you go to the end like the last screen, for example, the readability can be improved here, but I was wondering, like, if you add a label, then the label should be displayed first, perhaps. Then the address. We don't need to show the whole address, perhaps. Maybe we don't need to show address at all here. I don't know if it's cool already. The fee settings is global for the transactions, so we don't need to separate settings for each. And at the bottom we have summary, which just sums up the transactions, all of the amounts.
Yeah, Mo, what do you think of this table solution?
Oh, sorry, I was in the as you know where I was. So this is send Bitcoin, and this is a table solution with.
So you send to 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 addresses in this case.
Wow.
You just want to batch a bunch of stuff for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you put in all these different addresses, and maybe some of them have very specific labels, and you have unique amounts between them.
So how is this? This is a likely, scenario that you would send to so many multiple addresses, or it needs to be an option within the GUI, I'm guessing.
Well, it's possible. I mean, I think it should be possible, although it won't be. I don't think it's an scenario which is used often.
I like it. I just feel that because the content of each individual send is so text heavy, it's like just digits and numbers, and I feel that you could explore that design a bit, maybe add a bit of contrast, or what Christoph is doing.
Maybe, right?
No, I'm not doing anything.
contrast or make them seem like they're individual something, they're just a bit too, it's like I'm reading a paragraph now.
Yeah, it's this is more for intense usage.
And you would almost, and yeah. And I don't know how friendly that is to just see the addresses like that. I mean, I know, that is the case in most of the apps, but yeah. It's just...
Yeah, so just a couple considerations here. I remember somebody told me a use case they had for this, where they send out, and it was more kind of a business use case, where they regularly would send to 20 different addresses. I forgot what it was. So there could be a few things where you could import a CSV file, for example, with stuff, and it just kind of lays this out for you. Yeah, and the other one was where this person wanted to send to 10, 20 addresses, a fixed amount, and evenly split the amount across all those addresses. So yeah, they're very particular needs. I think it would be interesting if we find a way to make it by default very simple.
Yeah, there we go.
But there's a way that you can get into this.
Yeah, there we go. So keep it simple and then have the option to click and reveal the complexity. Because that's like, it's just happier on the eyes, And I think that's where we want the GUI to go. We want it to feel simple.
I mean, like specifically with this table, it could also be an option where this table actually stretches the whole width of the screen.
Yeah.
Where it's not limited to 450 pixels, but it goes up to 800 or something.
Yeah, that was a constraint. I felt like margins here are not so useful. But I wasn't sure if we should. Yeah, that's definitely.
So I think I had something here initially. Let's see if it's still there. Yeah, compact view. That you can switch between two different views, and this is the compact, I don't know. The compact view is probably not the right name, but that you can switch to this other view, this table view or whatnot. So, but yeah, I think this would be good if we could mock all of this up and then get feedback.
Yeah, that would be an interesting exploration, that one with all the addresses. I am just adding in this one.
Now we add the Christoph, your design with this scrolling. I mean, it's perfect for 2, 3, 4 recipients, right? I mean, the only thing is missing here is the summary, but we can have it at the transaction review, I guess, screen.
Yeah.
That does some of the amounts. Right?
Yeah, I think we should really just mock up 5 or 10 different versions of this, and then the best one is somewhere in there.
I think you could get quite a lot of design explorations from that one. Yeah. I've just finished off the single sig and the multi-sig flows. I added in review transaction and transaction confirmation.
Okay, I see it. That's weird. Figma's kind of slow with updating this right now. I go and then it just kind of pops in a few seconds later.
This was a good session.
Oh yeah, it's already in an hour.
Yeah, we're already.
Jitsi will kick us off now.
We're already.
3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that review transaction one you added in, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm not even sure we'll get this in the code now, but I guess it should be like, we shouldn't just fill and send and it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it does exist.
Yeah. I actually was seeing that.
Different thing. So I put together this comparison of the two. There's just so much stuff going on. I put together this video earlier. Should I upload that to Dropbox, YouTube, and then share it with people? Ask them which of the two block clocks they prefer.
And I like that idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just get some outside feedback.
Yeah.
I didn't manage to look at the Dropbox one that you sent earlier.
Yeah, it's a 4 or 5 minute video, fairly short. I'm just explaining what this block clock is, and then the two versions we have, and then asking for what people find more useful.
Yeah.
Do you want to count like votes or something?
So, but I don't know, just wait until. I would prefer written feedback rather than just, emoji votes or something.
Yeah.
From now, just from 2020, right? Or you
Yeah.
want to send it out together?
Yeah, and if the devs also want to share it with a few people, then it's cool too. I mean, yeah, anybody. You can also put it on Twitter, yes. But my tweets get like 2 views, so nobody's going to care.
That's pretty much the same like mine.
And those views are me on my other account. Okay, cool. Should we wrap it up? Or actually, maybe we should talk about what are we all going to do next?
Oh, good one.
Well, I still want to explore sound. I think there's a lot to do in the table version and the coin selection as well. So yeah, I also can take the input error states. I can try to come up, copy and edit the component and see and play and work with this.
Cool.
I would like to look at the send flow design options that you guys come up with and then add those into the user flow. Because I think that Christoph will come up with a different flow and Jacob as well. So I feel like I want to go into Jacob's one, look at what he came up with, go into Christoph's one, look at what he came up with, add that to the user flow. Maybe do a design exploration, but I just like my user flows.
Yeah.
So, maybe do some design research around that multi-recipient screen state.
I think that's a good one. Do some research, some competitive research. Well, not really competitive, but figure out how other applications handle this. These multi-sig setups, that would be a great help.
I'll do that.
Nunchuk is. I'm also curious how it looks there because I have never tried multi-sig, so it's a novelty for me. But on the other hand, I should really. I mean, it's one of the best ways to protect. So.
There's stuff in the UI kit here from a couple of years ago. So here it also asks you how many keys. Well, first it asks you if it's your own multi-sig or if it's a shared wallet, and then how many keys it should have. Let's set up key 1. Over here, let's set up key 1. How do you want to back it up? Let's set up key 2. What do you want to do with that? And then here's the shared one where, so the difference between the top one is that it asks you to set up all the keys. Mm-hmm. When you create a shared wallet, it talks differently. It talks about other people, and it asks you to, who are those cosigners are, and then it asks you, hey, here, talk to this person, and come back when you have their key. Do you already have their key? Okay, no. Send a key request. Cool, you got it. All right, here are all the keys. So there's some stuff in here.
Where is it? The main kit file?
That's in the Bitcoin UI kit file. You can also share it here. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to work differently in Core. Should I focus on detailing out the create wallet screens, or just tackle something else like receive, which is just kind of rough, I think, right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Feel free to
Whatever you wish.
whatever you feel like intuitively jumping into. You know?
I mean, we can all say, we all work on the same thing. We all focus on create wallet and send until we're done, or we can go off in different areas and then just kind of check in with each other and give each other feedback. I don't know what you prefer.
Yeah.
I think probably keeping it to send and create, because they're both complicated, and I guess if we split attention even more, it might become a bit messy to work on all of that. But
Not to create too many construction sites, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. All right, deal. I'm going to stop the recording here. For anyone who actually listens to this and makes it all the way, congratulations.